Welcome in, Hawks fans. This is your Atlanta Hawks fan show. It's your boy Bryce Lewis back at it again. Back with another show. I know it's been a while since we've done the show, about a month, but now we're back. Season's coming up, training camp right around the corner. And I got a special guest with me today from Sports Illustrated, Pat Benson. How are you today, sir?
Hey, Bryce, I'm doing great. Thank you so much for having me on the show. I'm a fan of the podcast and a fan of your writing and really everything that you're doing.
I appreciate that, man. Definitely appreciate that, man. And I'm just great to have you on, man. You cover the Hawks, like I said, for Sports Illustrated. So that's cool, you know what I'm saying, to meet somebody like you for such a prestigious, company that's been around for so long. So that's great and that's cool.
And they let me on anyway, so that was nice of them.
Yeah, definitely. I appreciate it. And listen, man, so like I said, training camp's right around the corner. And so people are excited, especially after last year. A lot of hype right now. And this is probably for the first time in a long time in the city that coming into a season, at least, Hawks fans are extremely excited. You can even say there's championship expectations and everybody's just excited to see what happens with this team this year. And before we get into like that part of the team, I just wanted to just talk with you first about what do you think about how this team is now viewed within the city now? Because it feels like the Hawks now are a cool team. You know, they're a team that you kind of are like, you know what? Even though I may not be a major fan of the Hawks, they're cool. And I watch them. I keep up with them because they're a team that I like to keep up with. Obviously, Trae Young's a very polarizing figure. He's the head of it, but, he's very popular, just released his signature shoe. I saw your article that Jalen Johnson just got a shoe deal. So that's big. That was the last time two Hawks players in the same team got a shoe deal. And that's the thing. We don't have a lot of that. So Can you talk about just what the transformation this team has overgone in terms of popularity and how they're viewed now? Because it seems like the Hawks may be a team now where it's just like, hey, they're just a cool team to keep up with and they're a cool team to watch.
That's a great question. Atlanta has always been had a strong basketball fan base, as it's shown every year through the ratings. The thing is, though, just it hasn't always had a strong connection with the Hawks. Like I remember, I guess right before Trae Young was drafted, you would go down there and it was, filled with Lakers jerseys whenever LA was in town, filled with, whoever the big team was at the time, whenever they were rolling through, their fans came through too. And it was always, kind of sad, I guess, to see that. And now that's no longer the case. I mean, it's all just a sea of red in the stands. And like you said, it's the cool thing to do. I talked to the announcer, Bob Rathbun, earlier this summer, and he was telling me about how it was the hottest ticket in town and, all this buzz and how everywhere you went, you would hear people talking about the team. So, they've always been a strong basketball fan base, but now it's a strong Hawks fan base as well. And, obviously, so much of the credit goes to Trae Young. I mean, he really, everything he touches seems to turn to gold.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, he has his rivalry with New York City. And, like I said, he's just, you see it in all the, at least for me, when I look at, chats, on NBA, Twitter, it'd be a crazy place. But you see all the arguments with Trae. And I remember they had a poll last year, who would you take, Lonzo Ball or Trae Young? And people were taking Lonzo Ball. And I was just like, what? And it's just, and that's why I say he's polarizing. Like either you're firmly on Trae Young's side or you have some reason, I guess, not to like the guy. And I guess that goes into my next point. Obviously, like I said, this team kind of made Eastern Conference, finals appearance last year. Feels like there's championship expectations. If looking at the team the way it's constructed now, where do you see the most improvement do you think is going to come on this team? Like what, not if you want to say a player you can, or a certain just part of the team, maybe that was a weakness last year that might become a strength or not as big of a weakness this year?
Yeah, I think it'll just be the natural maturation and growth of the team. They're all still so young. Didn't make any wild trades, no splashy free agency signings. They just locked up their young core through the rest of 2025, it's looking like. And I think just growing together and getting older, our three best players, Trae, John Collins, Clint Capella, are all well south of 30 years old. They're all under contract on good deals. So, I think that was the biggest improvement, was just securing the future and not letting John Collins get away in restricted free agency was huge. And I think fans are right to be excited. I don't think this team's a championship team yet. I think the goal, really should be, I guess the ceiling, I should say. The ceiling for me, the way I see it for the Hawks would be the Eastern Conference Finals again. I don't see how they get past a healthy Brooklyn Nets team. And I still think, you have to defer to the Milwaukee Bucks. They went through and they won the championship last year. So until somebody defeats them, I'm going to give them the benefit of the doubt. So I think it's right for fans to be excited. And I think the Eastern Conference Finals is really good compared to where this team was just 2 years ago.
Yeah, definitely. And I mean, hey, listen, NBA is, sometimes you need luck. You never know. Yeah. They might get there. They might get lucky. Somebody might be hurt. Because like I said, a lot of fans feel like, hey, if Trey didn't go down, people felt like they would have beat Milwaukee. Mm-hmm. So with that, I think that's why I think a lot of Hawks fans feel like if every player makes that growth this year, why not us? At least making an appearance at very, and I think so that's going to be interesting. Like you said, the maturation process throughout the year, and a person who's very big and responsible for that is Nate McMillan. He's done a wonderful job as Hawks head coach, becoming the official head coach after the season. And I made mention of it a little bit earlier in the year after the season. I was like, with all the guys we have, the depth we have, the talent, Nate's going to have a challenge on his hands. He's going to have to figure out what lines to play, what works best, who should he play. I said that he's going to have to, in a way, not be loyal to certain guys because depending on matchup, he just may not be a good matchup for this particular series, especially in the playoffs, maybe for the series or not. And how do you view that from his standpoint? It's a good problem to have that you have so much talent, but people are thinking, how are you going to get Jalen Johnson minutes? And is Sharif Cooper going to even hit the floor for us at all this year? And how who's going to be the rotation? I feel like the main guys pretty much. The starting five, and then probably Cam, Kevin Huerter. Point guard position is right now is DeLon Wright, but we'll see. That could switch, and then obviously we would assume that when Okongwu gets back, he will be the second center unless Gorgui Dieng just plays really well. Yeah. How do you see him figuring all of that out and trying to be put so he always can try to put the best group on the floor against whoever they're facing, so it's not like, he doesn't have the right matchup on the floor, and et cetera.
Yeah, you probably heard this the other day. General Manager Travis Schlenk, he had a preseason media availability, and somebody asked him about that, and he said, hey, it's great for my job. It's tough on Coach Nate McMillan. I love the depth, but for him, it'll be a challenge. And I think you made a really good point. When the playoffs come and those rotations shrink, there may be a series where some guys may not get off the bench, even though they've been having a stellar season just because of matchups or whatever the case may be. I think throughout the season, I think it's going to be incredibly beneficial, back to an 82-game season. The Hawks had a short off season in about 2.5 months. So I think there will be opportunities for us to see the young guys, and hopefully they can get some time to develop. I think it'll be great in the regular season. That's why I think this team is capable of winning 50-plus games. In the postseason, I think you just hit the nail on the head. There's going to be some series where some guys we want to see may not get off the bench, and they'll post DNP coaches' decisions, and hopefully they're all capable of handling that. I think they are. I think we've got a really solid core, entire roster, and no knuckleheads, nobody's going to be getting in trouble. So I think this team is legit. I think they're going to be top 3, top 4 at the worst team in the Eastern Conference.
Yeah, definitely. And it's funny that you mentioned, nobody getting in trouble. I remember last year, obviously with the COVID season, I don't remember a lot of Hawks players, if any Hawks players, really getting any COVID issues. I think I think it was before. I don't remember any guys. So for the most part, we've pretty much been able to show for a young team, we can keep our head on straight and stay focused. And I think that's big.
Yeah. Exactly. I think Bogdanovich right before the season, I think may have had it, and that kind of slowed him down because he had some, if I'm remembering correctly, I think he had some it just took him a while to kind of get over it, and then he got injured. But and it'll be really interesting. Just last night, there's this explosive Rolling Stone article where they were talking to the different players refusing to get vaccinated in the NBA, and one of the ringleaders was Kyrie Irving. And New York City, they have such tough laws on vaccinations. It's looking like he won't be able to even enter Barclays Center until he's vaccinated. So that could be 41 games a year that Kyrie Irving misses. And the Nets loss, that'll be the Hawks gain. If Irving wants to, do whatever, sit out 41 games, then I think the Nets will be compelled to either trade him, or it'll obviously hurt their playoff seeding. So that, to me, that's one of the really interesting things. I think the Hawks will really benefit from having 100% of their roster vaccinated.
Yeah, definitely. So just in case anything happens, they've done everything they've been asked, and they can get back on the court as soon as possible. So that's going to be big for the team. And obviously, like I said, we wish for good health. Get a Kongu back as soon as they're saying around January. I know they said Bogey and a couple other guys won't be 100% go at the start of camp, but it's fine. We got time, and as long as everybody's ready to go by opening day on TNT against the Mavs, I think we'll be good to go. But I really appreciate you coming on, Pat. Really appreciate you coming on to the show.
Hey, real quick though, I got to hear your prediction. I didn't hear your prediction.
Oh, my prediction on the team? Okay. Yeah. I mean, listen, I went on a limb. I said, honestly, I expect the Hawks to be a top 2 seed this year, just because I feel like with the depth they have, I already know guys like Gallinari are going to take veteran rest. They're going to take games off. So it's I feel like, but we have guys who can come in and still produce. And so I just think because of that, how regular season, certain teams don't play hard certain games, and other games we do. I mean, we're going to have games we don't either. It happens to everybody, but I think that's going to really help us win those extra few games, because especially since we were on pace of making Dillon start the season, and if we were healthy for a 50+ win season last year, I don't see why they would change this year. So that'd be my prediction. I at least would think Eastern Conference Finals as well. Obviously goal is NBA Finals, but again, it just depends on how everything goes. Obviously we'll see where the team is when that time comes. So definitely have high hopes for the team, but at the same time, I also understand the journey. I also understand everything that goes into it. It would have to be a really disappointing, we lost the Knicks in the first round or something like that.
I'd have to delete my Twitter account.
Yeah, exactly. That happened, then that'd be different. Then if we went to East Conference Finals, had a 7-game series against Brooklyn, and we lost, I wouldn't be mad. I'm I mean, how can you be mad about that? It's not like we lost to a scrub. They lost 3 great players. So, and especially if Kyrie doesn't get vaxxed, it'll be interesting if that lingers into the playoffs and he can't play home games. It's just and especially other arenas may not allow it. Okay. So that might definitely present some interesting things potentially. But
I like it.
Yeah. But before I let you go, Pat, let them know where to find you at.
Oh yeah, appreciate it. You can follow me at any of the social media sites at Pat_Benson_Jr. And other than that, man, just thank you so much for having me on. I'm a fan of everything you're doing, and definitely let's stay connected throughout the season.
Yeah, definitely, man. Definitely. I'll probably have you back on the show again, man. So if you
awesome. Thank you. Appreciate it.
All right, no problem. Hawks fans, that's your Atlanta Hawks fan show.
To host a fan show or appear as a fan on a fan show, create a profile in Fan Media Network. Then look for the news page in our website and fan show resources page. Help yourself. We give show hosts a show graphic and team colors, a simple short show format, tips on pre- and post-production, ideas to get fans and guests on your show, Apple News distribution and show sponsorship sales and services to help featured show hosts earn money. Show hosts use our iPhone app to publish their shows. Our website supports Android users.